Florence Pugh has never been one to shy away from the fray, her career a bold tapestry of roles that demand vulnerability and valor. From the sun-scorched intensity of Midsommar to the polished poise of Little Women, the 29-year-old British actress has carved a niche as a performer who doesn't just inhabit characters, she wrestles them into submission. Yet, off-screen, Pugh has faced a battle far more insidious: the relentless public dissection of her personal life, particularly her 3-year romance with Zach Braff, which ended in 2022. In a candid conversation on the Louis Theroux podcast, Pugh peeled back the layers of this ordeal, revealing how the hurt of constant commentary reshaped her approach to love, privacy, and self-advocacy in an industry that devours intimacy like candy. The heart of Pugh's reflection lies in a universal truth about fame's double-edged sword: relationships, those most sacred of human bonds, become fodder for the masses. With relationships and with romance in this world, she mused, it doesn't matter how much you speak on it or how little you speak on it. People don't care. They want a story. They sort of want a reality show. This observation cuts to the core of celebrity culture's voyeuristic hunger, where private whispers are amplified into spectacles. Pugh and Braff's pairing, marked by a 21-year age gap that sparked immediate backlash, fit neatly into this narrative machine. He, the Scrubs alum turned indie auteur, brought a seasoned, paternal vibe. She, a rising ingenue with unbridled fire. To detractors, it was a trope-laden mismatch, ripe for ridicule. So, it doesn't really matter how much you say you love someone or how much they make you happy, Pugh continued. If they don't like them and it doesn't fit that image that they want of you, they don't care. I think that hurt me. This hurt wasn't abstract, it was a visceral ache, compounded by the volume and venom of online vitriol. Social media timelines filled with memes mocking the duo, headlines framing Pugh as naive or Braff as predatory, each barb a reminder of her perceived deviance from an idealized script. The age disparity, while irrelevant to the authenticity of their connection, became a lightning rod, igniting debates on power dynamics, maturity, and societal expectations for women's partnerships. Pugh, acutely aware of this scrutiny, felt compelled to mount a defense. I stood up for it and I stood up for him and I stood up for me just being allowed to do whatever the fuck I wanted to do, she asserted, her words a defiant roar against the chorus of judgment. This act of reclamation wasn't passive, it was a calculated strike, a public declaration of agency in a realm where women's choices are policed with patriarchal precision. The impact of her stand was twofold. On one hand, it pierced the echo chamber, prompting introspection among critics. That did actually change a few people's minds, Pugh noted. I actually had a few people in the public reach out to me and say, I didn't think of it like that. And thank you for saying that. These olive branches, however modest, validated her voice, transforming outrage into dialogue. On the other, it fortified her resolve, teaching her the limits of transparency. Post-Braff, Pugh has drawn a firmer line in the sand: not anymore. The decision to withhold stems from hard-won wisdom, the realization that exposure invites exploitation. People will probably want to know a little bit more, she acknowledged. I think you have to just ask yourself, the more you expose, the more you're allowing people to have comment on it. If they don't know, they can't really make comment on it. Flashback to 2020, when the abuse peaked to unbearable levels. Pugh, then 24, uploaded a now iconic Instagram video, a raw, unscripted plea that humanized her plight. It got to the point where it was just really horrible to see someone that you are with receiving that, she confided to Theroux. The vitriol, she clarified, targeted Braff exclusively, painting him as the villain in a narrative of exploitation. This deflection only amplified her protective instincts. Love, in the crosshairs, demands a shield. It was never at me, it was only at him, she said. I think I just needed to kind of just check everyone, and so I made a video. The clip, laced with frustration and fervor, resonated widely, garnering waves of support that drowned out the detractors. And it got a lot of love and lots of people were supportive, which was great, Pugh reflected. And I think people online need to be reminded that we're real. This episode crystallized a pivotal shift in Pugh's worldview. The breakup with Braff, announced quietly in 2022, wasn't just an end but an evolution. It prompted a re-evaluation of boundaries, a recalibration of what she owes the public versus what she reserves for herself. I think I'll always defend people that I love, she affirmed. I will always stand up for them. I'll always make sure that if there needs to be a reset and there needs to be a bit of a smack on the wrist, I will do that because it's not fair that so much of your life gets to have jabs. Here, Pugh positions herself as a guardian, not just of her partners but of equity in discourse. The smack on the wrist, metaphor evokes a gentle correction, a reminder that commentary, unchecked, crosses into cruelty. At its essence, Pugh's philosophy boils down to intentional curation. You have to also remind yourself that you're letting them in, she advised. And you have to check yourself and also check the way that people are talking about you or talking at you or talking about your life. This self-audit is a radical act of empowerment, demanding vigilance in an age of algorithmic amplification. Social media, with its dopamine-driven dopamine loops, incentivizes outrage over nuance, turning relationships into rating systems. Pugh's strategy, selective silence, starves the beast, denying it the fuel of familiarity. And then also you have to ask yourself if it's necessary, she pondered. If I am exposing that part of my life and people are saying nasty things, okay, well, the one thing I can do is stop talking about that part of my life.